The rain in New York City doesn't just fall, it hits the concrete like a slap. On a cold November night, 24-year-old Maya stood outside the towering glass headquarters of Vanguard Designs, the most elite architectural firm in the United States. In her trembling hands, she held a black leather portfolio. Inside were 3 years of her life, blueprints of sustainable, futuristic skyscrapers that she had designed while working 18-hour shifts as an unpaid intern. Tonight was the big presentation for the $500 million Hudson River project. Maya's boss, Marcus Vance, a billionaire architect known for his sharp suits and ruthless arrogance, had promised her that tonight her name would be on the title block. She walked into the 40th floor boardroom. The air smelled of expensive espresso and old money. Marcus stood at the podium, dazzling the investors. Maya watched from the dark corner of the room, her heart pounding with excitement. Finally, the slide changed to her masterpiece, the Eco-Dome skyscraper. Marcus smiled and said into the microphone, "And this is my latest personal creation. I spent months sweating over these lines to perfect the aerodynamics." Maya's breath hitched. She waited for him to say her name. He didn't. When the presentation ended and the investors clapped, Maya confronted Marcus in his private office. She told him he promised that those were her designs, her calculations, and every single line belonged to me. Marcus didn't even look up from his phone. He poured a glass of whiskey, took a slow sip, and told her to be realistic. He said she was a nobody from a small town, and investors don't buy blueprints from nobodies. They buy the name Marcus Vance. He called her a ghost and said ghosts don't get credit. They stay in the shadows. He tossed a $5,000 check on the table and told her to take the bonus and leave the portfolio or walk out that door with nothing. Maya looked at the check. Then she looked at Marcus. The sadness in her eyes slowly turned into something else, something cold, sharp, and dangerous. She left the check on the table, picked up her coat, and walked out into the freezing rain. She didn't cry. The rain washed away her tears before they could form. She realized a brutal truth. In this country, nobody gives you power. You have to take it. Maya quit the next morning. She had $0 in her bank account and a massive student loan. But she had something Marcus Vance could never buy, the actual genius inside her brain. She rented a tiny, damp basement in Brooklyn that smelled of rusted pipes. She didn't try to apply to other big firms because she knew Marcus would blacklist her. Instead, she decided to change the rules of the game. She started a secret online community called the Ghost League. It was a platform where rejected, young, and exploited designers, coders, and engineers from across the US could upload their brilliant ideas anonymously, protected by blockchain technology. Maya used her last few dollars to buy a cheap camera and started making 60-second videos explaining the hidden flaws in New York's billion-dollar buildings and showing how they could be fixed. She didn't show her face. She wore a dark hoodie, her voice modulated, speaking with an intense, calm authority. She became a mystery. The internet loved a mystery. Within 6 months, the Ghost League went viral. The American youth saw it not just as a platform, but as a revolution against the toxic corporate elite. Millions of people were watching this anonymous girl expose the old billionaires of architecture. Meanwhile, Marcus Vance's $500 million Hudson River project was failing. Because Maya wasn't there to fix the structural errors in the blueprints, the foundations began to crack during early construction. The investors were panicking. Marcus was losing his mind. He needed a savior, but his arrogance wouldn't let him admit it. In late 2025, the city of Boston announced a historic contract, the revitalization of the old Boston Harbor, a $1 billion project. It was the biggest architectural contract of the decade. The mayor announced a blind competition. The judges wouldn't see the names of the companies. They would only judge the physical models and the digital data. Marcus Vance spent millions hiring top Ivy League graduates to build his model. He was confident he would win. On the day of the final selection, the Grand Hall in Boston was packed with media, billionaires, and politicians. Marcus stood near his massive gold-plated model, smiling for the cameras. Right next to his presentation space was a curtained area marked Project X, the Ghost League. The whistle blew. The curtains fell. Maya's model was revealed. It wasn't gold-plated. It was built from recycled ocean plastic and living green algae that purifies water. It looked like a living, breathing city from the year 3000. It was magnificent. The crowd went completely silent. When the votes came in, it wasn't even close. The judges announced the winner, Project X. The mayor stepped up to the microphone and asked the representative of Project X to please step forward to claim the contract. The crowd murmured. Nobody moved. Suddenly, from the back of the hall, a girl walked down the aisle. She wasn't wearing a designer suit. She wore a simple black blazer and boots. Her posture was straight, her eyes fixed on the stage. Marcus Vance's face turned pale. "Maya?" he whispered. Maya walked past him without even glancing his way. She took the microphone. "My name is Maya Lin," her voice echoing with absolute power. "1 year ago, I was told that ghosts don't get credit, that nobodies don't build empires. But today, the ghosts have taken over the city." The room erupted in applause. The cameras flashed frantically. The internet broke. That evening, Marcus found Maya standing by the harbor, watching the sunset over the water. The billionaire looked defeated, his empire crumbling as investors pulled out of his failing projects. He asked her how she did it with no money and no connections. Maya turned around, the ocean wind blowing her hair. She looked at him with a calm, Taraz-Wali smile. "You made one mistake, Marcus," Maya said softly. "You thought the power was in your name, but the power was always in the pencil. You can buy a name, but you can never buy the soul of a creator." She walked away, leaving the billionaire alone in the shadow of the city she was about to rebuild. If you want to witness how the underdogs break the rules and defeat the billionaires, hit subscribe and unlock the next level of human mind games.